Good day, everyone, and welcome back to the Clever Report. It's yours truly, Peter Clever. Today, we're going to talk about conspiracy theories, especially the one that is happening in Nigeria right now. Now, first, conspiracy theory as a term was first used in the 60s after the brutal assassination of JFK, John F. Kennedy, the former president of the United States. And then there were after the assassination, many theories came up. Many journalists or even normal citizens were asking questions, many pertinent questions because of the discrepancies they were seeing in the different stories, the gracinome and every other thing. So people were not contented with the federal government's narrative of the whole event. So they were right in their assertion to ask certain pertinent questions so that they will get to the root of the assassination of their beloved president. Now, bringing it back to Nigeria, you know, last in the month of May 2026, 39 school children were adopted in Oriire, Oyo State. They were adopted with six teachers. Now, since after that, they've spent almost 50 days of more than 50 days in captivity. The people have been calling on the federal government to find a way to rescue them and everything. But 4 days ago, due to the joint task force of the federal government, the military, and the other security personnel, they were rescued. And since then, after the rescue of these, victims and the children, the whole thing has been a bit shady because many people are asking of the authenticity of the rescue. Some people are calling it a false flag, and you don't blame with the track record of the Nigerian government. You don't blame the citizens for actually thinking the government allegedly staged the whole thing. Two people were murdered, one person was beheaded, one of the teachers, and the way the woman was giving, interview to the press and everything. Now I don't know what is true or not. I don't know if the government allegedly staged this. I don't know if the government is right. I don't know if the woman is part of the whole conspiracy of it. But the thing is that when this kind of thing happens, anybody that is telling you to stop asking questions is the enemy. And that is what I basically believe. Any person that is telling you to just stop asking questions and just take the government at face value is the enemy. So, in light of what is happening, Seyi Makinde, the governor of Oyo State, in a statement, in a video statement, 8 minutes video statement, talked about thank the government and spoke to the citizens. But there is a 1 minute clip that is making rounds on social media where he explicitly said that he's not contented with the whole incident. He wants further investigation. He wants a neutral umpire. He's calling on the United Nations and the human rights in the international community to come and investigate what is happening. But don't hear it from me. I want us to watch the clip together, and then I'll give you what my take on the whole issue.
The circumstances surrounding this incident are sufficiently grave and unusual to warrant independent scrutiny beyond our domestic institutions. I therefore, with a full sense of responsibility as the executive governor of Oyo State, call on the appropriate international human rights and accountability mechanisms, including those within the United Nations system, to closely examine the facts surrounding this abduction and the circumstances of its resolution. Such scrutiny is not intended to undermine our institutions. Rather, it is intended to reinforce public confidence that the truth will be established and that every person found to bear responsibility, regardless of office, influence, or affiliation, will be held accountable. Under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the primary responsibility for national security rests with the federal government and the security agencies under its command. The Nigerian people, therefore, deserve a full and transparent account of what happened, who was responsible, whether there were institutional failures, negligence, or collusion at any level, and what measures must now be taken to ensure that no community is ever subjected to such an ordeal again. This is not about politics. It is about justice for the victims, reassurance for our people, and restoring public confidence that every Nigerian child can go to school.
Heard everything the governor said, and I think the governor is right because it's just basically speaking the mind of the average Nigerian. I know that the federal government and the powers that be, they don't really care about what the average Nigerian thinks, but the governor is actually making sense. Even some people, even though even let's even give the federal government the benefit of that and say the governor is playing politics with it, but Is it a bad thing to actually ascertain what happened, if there was collusion, if there was negligence and every other thing that, coming from, he's not even saying that he doesn't trust our institutions, sorry, but he's just saying that he wants an independent body to review what happened. These are the issues. You need to review what happened so that it won't happen again if there was security lapses and all these things. But many people in the APC led administration, in the Nigerian government, are not having it. But me too, I came up with four salient points about what I ascertained from the governor's statements. The first one, I think, he is a governor who has nothing to hide and prioritizes truth over image management. Now, yes, the governor actually, on his own part, he takes responsibility to a large extent because the police is controlled by the federal government and everything. But even though he's basically saying that there's a lapse in security and he's taking full responsibility, but he wants to manage the situation basically well. So the second one is, I see a governor seeking accountability, though the rescue was not a military success, but the loss of life raised questions about prevention and response coordination between the state and federal agencies. International scrutiny can examine the food chain without being limited by jurisdictional politics. Yes. Now, yes, we thank the military personnel or the security personnel that came up and helped in this operation. But if an independent umpire, especially from the UN, comes, maybe there was a lapse in chain of command, or the coordination between the state and federal government wasn't cohesive enough, so that there was rapid and immediate, rescue assessment and everything. So, these are the things we are talking about, that maybe there was no harmony, because we know that there's a bit of bad blood between the governor and the president. So we need to check, we need to scrutinize if the both parties were just playing politics with the lives of the average citizen. So the third one is, the governor trying to build public trust. The people of Oyo State need assurance and international involvement as credibility and reduces suspicion over cover up or political interference. Yes, basically the governor is actually laying bare, opening his arms and saying that, come and investigate my house. You know, if there was political interference, in the sense that maybe the presidency was withholding certain resources allegedly, to avoid or to make the governor look bad, we need to check all these possible leads. So we shouldn't just limit it to just saying that the people have been found and then nobody should ask questions. And the fourth one, last but not the least, is a governor setting a precedent for child protection. School adoptions are a recurring national crisis, and treating this case with international standards sends a strong message to the Oyo State takes the safety of the students and the school children seriously and willing to subject itself to global best practices. This is actually true, because the governor is actually saying that, I want the global or the national, international body to come and check what is happening. And I'm sure they will find certain, you know, loopholes in the security of the child or the children in Oyo State, or the school children. So I don't think the governor is actually playing politics. I don't know, but with what the eye can see, I think the governor is just trying to be accountable to the people, trying to build public trust, and trying to make a situation whereby the students, because people will now be afraid to go to school. School children will be afraid to go to school in Oyo State. He's trying to say that because these international bodies, whether we like it or not, the UN coming to investigate what is happening gives it more credibility, because the people don't trust the local authority in Nigeria to a reasonable extent, because they think that every other thing is politics. Politics being played at the federal level or at the state level. Now, some people, they mad criticism of the governor of Oyo State is saying that there was a time he was in bed with the federal government. Now he's just, I don't think he's playing politics, but if he's actually playing politics now, it is a bad precedent to set, because let's even say he's playing politics. If the politics he's playing is going to reveal that there are certain loopholes in the security agencies, or there are certain loopholes, or there are certain collusions or negligence in what is happening, or what led to the adoption of these children, the public needs to know. Yeah, and it's the right of the public to know, because we are the taxpayers. So, basically, the last take I'm going to give on this is that anybody that is telling you to stop asking questions, anybody in any situation that happens, whether somebody is playing politics or not, anybody that is telling you that we found the children, we've rescued the victims, not ask questions, and if you ask questions, you don't like the federal government, or you're an enemy of the current APC-led administration, that person is the bad person. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So make sure you like, subscribe, Turn on post notifications so you'll be notified anytime I drop another video. Until next time, peace.